Bob and Brad, the two most famous physical therapists on the internet.
Hi, folks. I'm Bob Schrupp, physical therapist.
Brad Heineck, physical therapist.
Together we have the most famous physical therapists on the internet.
In our opinion, of course, Bob.
Today we're going to talk about 7 signs your hips are way too weak. We might even throw an 8 in there.
Yeah, a little
You know,
bonus.
Yeah, so if you have weak hips, it's going to cause your walking pattern to be very strange, first off.
Sure.
And we'll show some of that later. But it also could result in your walking pattern being painful. So, weak hips can also result in poor balance and falls. So it's not something you want to have happen. If you have weak hips, you're going to want to watch our video, how to strengthen a painful hip.
Right. They're not difficult. You can do them at home typically.
Yeah, we'll talk about that at the end.
Sure.
All right, number 1 sign. Brad, do you want to show this? Getting out of a chair.
Oh, yeah.
It takes maybe multiple tries, or you got to lean way forward to do it.
Yeah, so if you find you need to do this, this also is a quadricep thing too, but there's really no isolated thing in this. But, definitely those hips, particularly right at the end if you have a hard time straightening up.
Brad and I have talked about this many times too, using an electric sit-to-stand chair.
Right, the recliner that has the push button to lift you up.
Yeah, now they're fine, especially if you can't get out of the chair, but we want you to use it only as high as you need to get out of the chair, because you need to strengthen those muscles.
Yeah, otherwise they get weak.
Yeah, and I've seen people, I could tell right away. I go, do you have one of those sit-to-stand chairs? And they'll say, yeah, how do you know? Because your leg muscles are so weak because you never use them anymore. So next one, this is where we're talking about with the walking. You can actually develop a Trendelenburg sign. So like when you walk, you take a step, your hip drops down. And the way to test that, you can put your hands up against the wall. I'll just put my hands on the Booyah stick here. So I'm going to lift my left leg, and when I lift it, this pelvis should actually go up just a slight bit. If this muscle right here is weak, and I lift this hip, it'll do this.
Drop down.
If this muscle is weak, when I lift this leg, it'll drop down like this. This muscle right here pulls that body up, that pelvis up. So when you walk, you kind of start getting that waddle.
Yep.
And
you'll see that. Sometimes only on one side, it may be only one hip is weak. Sometimes both are weak.
Now, sometimes also when you have a weak hip, you'll lean on that side because you're trying to not have to make that hip work. So you might go like this if the hip is weak on this side. So also painful sometimes.
So you start compensating, and that can be a problem with your knee, your back, and where your hip joint goes.
It throws everything off. And you can start getting bursitis because of it. You're stretching on the muscles over the bursa, and everything just stops working.
Sure, yeah, it throws the mechanics off.
All right, if your knees, and they weren't really before, are getting a little bit knock-kneed, so you're turning, what's happening is if your muscles of your hip are weak, they normally externally rotate or turn your hips out like this. Yeah, like that.
I mean, we're exaggerating here, but they stabilize them.
If these are weak, they tend to start going like this. We see this in young volleyball players sometimes. They set up to get ready to receive the ball, and they actually turn their hips in like this, which puts them more at risk for injury of knee injuries.
Right.
So
ACL.
we teach them that they want to get down like this and strengthen those muscles. So again, it's the muscles, a lot of the glute muscles that help turn that thighs out, and if they're weak, you're gonna unfortunately turn it in. All right, if you have poor balance, that might be a sign that your hip muscles are weak.
Sure.
But a lot of your balance comes from your hips and your ankles.
Right. Yep.
So if you're having trouble with your balance, I would definitely look at the hips, at strengthening them, and you may want to secondarily look at the ankles.
Right.
So, if you are having trouble going up and down stairs, you certainly probably have some weak hip muscles.
If you find yourself grabbing the rail and pulling on the rail to get yourself up, and then leaning forward excessively and pulling, there's a good chance your hips and your quadriceps are probably involved as well.
Now, if you also have trouble getting out, if you have trouble getting out of a chair, but if you have trouble getting out of a car seat, because a lot of the car seats are almost even lower, and you're kind of a bucket seat.
Oh,
So
right,
it
exactly.
can be a lot harder to get out of those.
Yep.
That's the sign too. There's your sign.
Yeah, you got to have someone pull you out or grabbing on the handles excessively.
Now, Brad, you had mentioned this one, and that's why I'll throw in a bonus here, number 8. So you were saying just as a test, you could do a bridge.
Right.
You could lie down on the bed or on the floor and just try to lift up like this.
Yep.
You could even try it with one leg
Yep.
and see, if you can't get up at all, move it at all, yeah, your hips are weak.
If you
butt
can
out.
get both of them, and then you could try one leg and the other and see if it's the right hip or the left hip, that's an easy way to zero in on it.
So this video is a part of series videos on hip pain. So if you want to see the entire series, go to bobandbrad.com, go to the not giveaway section, go to the program section and look for hip pain. And we have, 30 videos on hip pain.
Yeah.
You pick out the ones you want to watch that pertain to you.
Yeah, just look at the title of them.
And
Oh, there's a PDF printout, and what it does is it prints out a review of that video, shows you the exercises, so you don't have to look back. The beauty of it is it's all free. There's no email. It's our gift.
It's our gift to you. Thanks for watching.
Good luck with those hips.